Hello students, I'm here with another video from the chapter of class 10th NCERT book of science, that is how do organisms reproduce. Before starting today's video, I would like to tell you all that till now what all things we have discussed in this chapter. So we started this chapter with the word to understand that what is the meaning of the word reproduction, which means that to increase in number. Now there could be many ways by which organism is going to increase its number. That is to basic concept and the basic method regarding which we have discussed so far is about the two modes of reproduction, in which first we are about to complete, that is asexual mode of reproduction, and the second mode of reproduction is a sexual mode of reproduction. Okay, so we have seen different modes of asexual reproduction. That is, in the first example we have seen about the binary fission, then about multiple fission, which was under the category of fission. Then after that we saw about the spore formation. Then we have also discussed about the multiple fission as well. Oh, sorry, that about spore formation, and also about the fragmentation and regeneration. So in yesterday's class, in last class, I was discussing about the difference between fragmentation and the regeneration. So we saw that fragmentation means it is the natural process which of reproduction which is taking place in the algae. Okay, so this algae is going to increase its number by the process of breaking down into fragments. Once these broken parts or fragments are present in the water, they start growing, and they are going to grow in a fully developed organisms after some time. And here in fragmentation, each and every fragment, each and every small piece is going to develop into a large into a complete organism. Fine. Then we saw that whereas in this regeneration, what happens, it is not necessary that each and every organism which is going to be cut and it is going to grow. So here in regeneration is just it is just the process by which any organism is going to be alive. I mean, if the organism is accidentally being cut, or that accidentally being if it is being broken into two parts or three parts, then each and every part is going to get back its normal parts. That is, it is going to grow into its normal part. Fine means lost part is again regenerated, children. Next, fragmentation means it is taking place in the structure which is very similar, which is very simple. I mean, the body of alga is made up of very simple tissues. Okay, so they don't have any specialized tissue, whereas in this regeneration we require the special kind of tissue. Means each and every tissue has to be in its specializedness in its function. I mean, the tissues are already they are already in a specialized function, means they have to perform the specialized function. It is, as the definition of the tissue only says, that it is a group of cells which performs the special function. Okay, so after that we saw that this fragmentation is taking place in certain organisms, whereas regeneration is found in living organism, almost all living organism, because each and any either means any of the body part has will show the regenerative function. As for example, we could see in the human beings also there are certain organs which show regenerative function. Whether this is structural regeneration or the functions are also regenerated, or it is going to be means it is going to be regeneration in the functions also. So it's not necessary that only the structure is going to be developed if it is being broken down. Fine, it could be functions also which could be regained after the regenerative process. Okay, so this was all about yesterday's video, and we have also given some concept of this vegetative propagation, where I have given you the concept that vegetative propagation means it is a way by which any organism is going to any organism is going to increase its number, and propagation means increase its number. Okay, and what is the meaning of the word vegetative here? Vegetative means it is a type of propagation. It is a increasing in population which is taking place in the plants. Okay, so we'll discuss more about this vegetative propagation today also, so that it is a very long topic. and I'm going to tell you about various modes of vegetative propagation, children. So vegetative propagation, as the name suggests, that vegetative means the parts which are said to be as the vegetative parts. It means that in each plant there are two parts. Okay, there are two types of parts present. Now the first part is the vegetative part, and the next part is the reproductive part. Okay, so each plant has vegetative part as well as the reproductive part. Now in this vegetative part of a plant means it is said to be as stem. So the examples of vegetative part, or the parts which are said to be as vegetative parts in the plant, they are stem, root. Okay, we'll start with root, stem, leaves. All these are the vegetative parts of a plant. Okay, next what is left? We have written the three parts over here, so it means we are only left with the one part, that is the flower. So this flower is it is a part which is said to be as a reproductive part. Now why it is said to be as a reproductive part? Because each and every flower has two parts which is said to be as the male reproductive part and the female reproductive part of flower. That is why it is said to be as reproductive part of a flower. Fine, because it has individually male and female parts present in it. So such flowers are said to be, okay, we'll discuss all these things in the next part, that would be the sexual reproduction. So I'm going to discuss about the vegetative part, vegetative propagation here. So we'll only consider with these vegetative parts. Okay, so we'll discuss about that, how the plants are going to increase its number by these parts. Okay, so if the vegetative parts are involved in the reproduction, it is said to be as vegetative propagation. Okay, so we'll discuss about the vegetative modes, different modes of vegetative propagation now. So this was just the introduction about vegetative propagation, children, which means that increase in number with the help of the vegetative parts of a plant. Now, what are the different modes of vegetative propagation, children? Now, there are two modes of vegetative propagation. The first mode is the natural vegetative propagation, natural method. It takes place by two methods, natural method and artificial method. Okay, now in this natural method, the parts are involved, that is root, vegetative propagation by roots, stem and leaf. Okay, so these are the three parts which are involved in natural method of vegetative propagation, that is root, stem and leaves. Okay, so this takes place with the help of three parts, three vegetative parts, that is root, stem and leaf. Okay, next is artificial mode of vegetative propagation. It takes place with the help of the involvement of the human beings. So here the methods are something different. That could be by cutting. Okay, this could be by layering. It could be by grafting. Okay, and it could be by an advanced technique that is said to be as tissue culture, or this is also said to be as micropropagation, by tissue culture. So these are the various methods of artificial mode of vegetative propagation, 1, 2, 3, and this one is fourth method. Okay, so we will study all these modes of vegetative propagation, children, which means that this vegetative propagation means it is an increase in number with the help of the vegetative parts of a plant, that is the root, stem and leaves. Okay, and it could be of two types. It takes place either by the natural mode, naturally in the nature. So it is said to be as the natural mode of vegetative propagation or natural method of vegetative propagation. Similarly, this could be or it could take place with the help of the artificial mode of vegetative propagation, which takes place with the involvement of the human beings. And these are the following types. These are the examples of vegetative propagation, that is cutting, layering, grafting, tissue culture techniques. All these will come under the artificial mode of vegetative propagation. Okay. So here in this natural mode of vegetative propagation, which involves the parts like root, stem and leaves, children. Okay. Now we'll study that how this root, stem and leaves are involved in various plants where the vegetative propagation is taking place, or where the vegetative mode of vegetative propagation is very common. Okay, so we'll discuss this one by one. So here in these types of plants where the root, stem and leaves are involved in the vegetative propagation, that is said to be the natural method of vegetative propagation. Now it is said to be as natural method because in the nature or in on its own, the new plants could be developed from these old plants, old plant parts, that is root, stem and leaves. Okay. So we'll discuss one by one. So in here, in the natural method of vegetative propagation where root is involved, which means that in some plants, so in some plants what happens? The roots are already present. So this root is responsible for the new growth of new plants. So for example, the roots of dahlia or sweet potato, so these are some examples, and there could be many more examples where what happens, the plants are going to reproduce with the help of this roots. For example, in dahlia or in the sweet potato, what happens, if we are going to keep the roots with the help of inside water, now what happens? New plant starts germinating. Okay, so from these old roots, so these are some roots, and from here new plant starts germinating. So this is how the roots of dahlia or roots of sweet potato, they are, when they are kept under the favorable conditions, like when the season comes, then what happens, this root is able to give rise to various new plantlets, and these plants are very much, I mean, they have a very they could easily develop into a new plant because these are developed by the process of natural vegetative propagation, that is by the roots. Okay, so here in dahlia and in the sweet potato, I am taking two examples. There are many more such examples where special roots are there which could develop into a new plant. Okay, now this is the rainy season. Now you could see that many small roots which are kept, like the roots of chrysanthemum is there. If you are going to put it in the soil, then after some time you will see that some of the roots, some of the plants are automatically coming out from these roots which are already present, which we feel that they are dead, but still if it is present inside the ground, it is going to develop into a new plant. So this roots of sweet potato and dahlia, they give rise to many small plants, and this is said to be as the natural vegetative propagation with the help of roots. Now next example of natural vegetative propagation is by the vegetative propagation by stem. Now you know that the stem is again a vegetative part, and there are various types of stem. We can see underground stem also. We can see the underground stem also. Okay, now underground stem, the example of underground stem is very common. Okay, very common, that is potato, which is the example of underground stem. Even ginger, onion, garlic, all these are the examples and the modification of roots. Okay, sorry, the stem. Though, so this potato is also known as the underground stem. This is tuber. Okay. Then ginger. Ginger is a rhizome. This is an example of modification of stem, which is also known as the rhizome. Okay. Then in onion also, these two are known as the bulb. Okay, there are many more examples where you could see that some plants could be developed from all these modifications of root stem. This is known as tuber. Now what happens? Don't just go for the modified names. We'll just go with the simple names only. We will see the examples where the stem is responsible for the development of a new plant. How? See, in potato what happens? As you could see that nowadays the potatoes are present, and the potato is able to, they have certain structure called eyes. Okay, they have certain structure called eye. Now from this eye only you could see that a small plant, small outgrowth is coming out. Okay, you could see that small outgrowth is coming out. So here what happens, small plants are coming out, okay, like this. Now, nowadays you could see in your homes also, if there would be certain some small potatoes are being kept in your home, then nowadays you could see, because it is the rainy season, and in this season you could see that this potato is reproducing, and it is giving a, it is also it is growing, it is having small grown up small plants are going arising from the each structure which is present, which is known as the eye of potato. This has an eye, and all these eye which are responsible for the new growth of the plant, and this is said to be as a natural method of vegetative propagation, and in which tubers are responsible for a growth of new plants just because they contain the auxiliary buds, that is the eye. Okay, so these eyes are responsible for the development of a new plant, and during this season you could see that potato is giving rise to new small plants, and then these plants, if they are going to get a good condition, if they are going to get good environment and favorable conditions, then what would happen? These plants are going to develop into a new plant, and this is again an example of vegetative propagation, children. Similarly, we can see that the vegetative propagation could take place in the different stems. Okay, now I'll just go on to the stem part, that how this ginger, which is the underground stem, and it is also the example of rhizome, where each and every ginger, means if you draw, suppose that this is the ginger, so you could see that the ginger has the different structure, like you can see the lines. Now these lines are known as the nodes and internodes. Okay, now from the node part, you can see a different small plant is going to come out. Okay, you will see that small plant is going to come out. So this could come from anywhere, from all these thick band like structure is present, you could easily see on the ginger, and this is very common, and this part is giving rise to a new plant, that is they have scale leaves in it, and they're very tender, they're very small, and each and every this node can give rise to a new plant, and this is responsible for a new growth in the rhizome. Okay, so these gingers are also having the this ginger is going to give rise to small plants, and this is said to be as an example of vegetative propagation by the stem, that is the underground stem, which is the rhizome. Next, you can see in the onion. Okay, if you draw an onion, so here what happens? Now if you see, there are scales present, okay. If you cut an onion, then you could see that some scales, the lines are present. These lines are said to be as the scale leaves. Now here from the root part, from the root side, you will see that small plant is coming out. Okay, small plants are going to come out, and this root also starts growing. This root also starts growing. Okay, so this is known as again this is an example of vegetative propagation, because it is taking place. This complete bulb is responsible, this onion is completely responsible for the development of a new plant, where small stems will arise from this complete onion. Okay, so this is the new plant, and these are the new roots, and this is the bulb of onion. Okay, so this is going to give rise to a new small plant, and with the help of the bulb, it is said to be as a vegetative propagation. Similar thing happens with the ginger also, children. Ginger also is, if you can see the ginger, then again this is part of a, okay, and you will see that small plants, small stem would be grown from this ginger, this garlic. So this garlic is also an example of the bulb, and this bulb is a modification of the stem, children. So the stems are modified stems which will give rise to a new plant structure, and this is studied under the process of vegetative propagation, because these are the vegetative parts. So we have seen that this vegetative part, this is taking place naturally. These human beings see in this process, human beings are not involved, children. There is no role of human beings. The ginger is kept in the basket, the potato is kept in the basket, that all this one garlic and onions are kept in the basket. So it is kept outside in the environment, and it is these small plants are growing naturally. Nobody is going to give them the insecticide, pesticide, manure, and in this, but still you can see there is a small growth. Now from why this is growing, because this in these plants, in these vegetables, the artificial this I mean vegetative propagation has to take place. So this vegetative propagation, because of vegetative propagation, these plants are going to increase in its number, whether the when the favorable conditions for the season of the when the season of these vegetables are there, it is going to grow properly. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the next topic of this vegetative propagation, children, that is the artificial mode of vegetative propagation. I'll move on to the next topic, that is artificial mode of vegetative propagation. Okay, so we have seen about the natural mode of vegetative propagation. Now I'll move on to the other method, that is the artificial mode of vegetative propagation. This is the artificial mode of vegetative propagation. In this, we have to study that in this condition, the interference of human being is involved. Now, this is the artificial mode of vegetative propagation means it is taking place with the interference of it is taking place with the help of human beings. Okay, so here we will discuss about the cutting, layering, grafting, and tissue culture. Okay, so let's discuss about all these modes of vegetative propagation with the help of human beings, that is artificial mode of vegetative propagation, which is the cutting. Now, what do you mean by the cutting method? Okay, so here in this cutting method, it is the easiest way of vegetative propagation, children, which takes place with the help of the root cuttings, okay, or it could be the stem cuttings. So we are discussing about we can easily cut the roots, and we'll put these roots somewhere else, but these roots are not being cut on its own, they are being cut with the help of the human beings, means we are going and cutting these stems or the roots. That is why it is said to be as a artificial mode of vegetative propagation. Okay, so as you see in the money plants, you could just pluck up one stem from there and you will just put it in the soil or in the water bottle. So you'll see that a new money plant this stem is going, it is going to grow. Okay, so that climber and the creeper starts growing. Similarly, there are various plants where the stem cuttings are being done. Now, the cuttings of the stem which takes place in the plants like uh, the stem cuttings could be it takes place in the rose plant. It takes place in the hibiscus. Okay, you're going to cut the stem of hibiscus and you're just putting it in the soil. Okay, then again the stem cutting could be in the rose, in mango also. Okay, so there are many plants where you can simply cut the stem of these plants and you put it under the soil. Okay, just cut the plant stem and just put it in the soil. Then you will see that after some time a new branch is going to grow from the cut portion. Okay, so this is going to grow into a new plant and this plant again is going to bear the fruits and flowers. Now stem cutting, there should be the healthy stem healthy stems should be taken. Then cutting should be it should be taking place, it should be done with the growing season. I mean, if the growing season is not there, it is not going to be alive for many days. It is going to die after some time as soon as you're cutting and putting it inside the soil. Okay, so just take the stem of the rose, healthy plant of a rose, and then you cut a strong stem with a healthy parts like there are two parts in the stem. Everybody should remember this. There are two parts. That stem consists of different. Okay, sugarcane is also an example of stem cutting. So we'll take the example of this sugarcane. So suppose that this is the parent plant. Now what you do, you just cut it from somewhere, or in the middle also you can cut it. Okay. Now what happens? You need to take these structure which is hard in nature, and it is like a band like structure. So each band is said to be as the node. Okay, this is said to be as node. Now, this node, in between these two nodes, there is a space. This space is said to be as internode. Okay, so node and internode is a place which is responsible for the stem cuttings. Okay, now I'll just draw a diagram here and show you that how is the stem cutting taking place. Okay, so here what happens, you'll just take a sugarcane plant. Okay, so this is a node, this is internode. Now we'll cut the plant from here and here. Okay, we'll cut from here and here. So it is going to cut with the help of the human beings. That is why it is said to be as artificial mode of vegetative propagation. So we'll put it under the soil now. So it is going to cut in an oblique section, is going to cut, and one node or two nodes should be above the ground and one node should be below the ground. Okay, so this node will put under the soil. So this is complete soil and this is again a node. One node would be above the soil and another node would be below the soil. Now after some time what happens, you will see that the roots are going to develop from this node and the shoot is going to develop from this. Okay, so this is said to be as the stem cutting, children. So this is an example of stem cutting. Okay, similarly it takes place in the rose also. Just take a stem of a rose and the nodes should be inside, some of the nodes should be inside the soil and some nodes should be above the soil. One or two nodes should be above the soil. After some time you will see that a new plant is going to grow and come out. Okay, so this is known as a stem cutting, children. Okay, similarly there are the stem cuttings of the money plants also. It could be cut and then it is going to be put in the water. So small stem is going to put under the water or under the soil. After some time you will see that the leaves are started growing, leaves are started growing here, And this is an example of stem cutting again. Hibiscus also same thing happens. You take a stem, you just cut in the oblique section. Now the question is that why we are cutting it in the oblique section. On both those places we are cutting the stem in an oblique way. Now the reason regarding this oblique section is that we'll cut it in a slant way. Okay, oblique means we'll cut it in a slanting way, here also and here also. So the slanting way is we are going to increase the surface area of absorption. So as we can see that once the stem is going under the soil, it has to take up the water, the different nutrients, manure, whatever you are putting it under the soil for its growth. Everything has to be taken up, everything has to be absorbed from the roots only. So there, for increasing the area of absorption, these stems are being cut in the oblique section. Okay, so this is the reason regarding this. So this was about the stem cutting, children. Other two methods, that is layering and grafting, is again left. I'll discuss both these topics in the next class. So in today's class we have discussed about the methods of vegetative propagation, where we have seen all the methods of natural vegetative propagation which takes place in the different roots stem. Okay, one was still left, that is in the leaves. I'll discuss that also. That would be in the bryophyllum, where a small leaf is there and it is going to grow into a new plant. How this is going to grow, this also would be included in the next class, as I have left out here. And I'm going to, that is a special case, and after this stem cutting I'll just discuss this in the next video, children. Okay, so that's all for today. I'll meet you all in the next video with the next topic to be discussed.